Flight boss, bitch. You know, for sure. You're not listening to the Mind of an Terry Smooth. I'm the Archangel Uriel, and I'm here to carry out God duties and motherfucking responsibilities. And we're gonna talk about how to beat karma in this motherfucker. But first and foremost, it's dipset flights in this motherfucker. We dipset today, motherfucker. Taliban. Goddamn it, Archangel Uriel flew for the goddamn Taliban. And Polyman is gonna teach you how to beat motherfucking karma. So before we even get into anything, you gotta know what the fuck you even going up against before you know what it is. How the fuck you gonna know what you're beating if you don't even know what the fuck the war is that you're motherfucking fighting? So that's what this fucking channel is about. So we're gonna talk about how the fuck you gonna beat karma. Now karma is not exclusive to positive or negative, but a lot of times it play out as negative because a lot of y'all get lost into y'all waters. Y'all get lost into what y'all are emotionally invested into, so it play out as bad karma. Keyword bad karma. But karma could come in many different ways, but we're gonna break down what the fuck karma is exactly. Now, for the most part, karma is a bitch. So it's a female off the top. So it's dealing with the feminine energy. So it plays out as like your Merkaba, or it plays out as like your ghost, or your feminine shape and form that you create to keep track of your possessions, or your material, or your shapes and forms that you create out of your currents, aka your current circumstance, your scenario, your ability to stand within that circumstance, that body of water, which is your situations. So, for the most part, this is why you have to wave a lot of things and get move shit out of your circumstances and shit. But for the most part, you need to know that when we talk about karma, karma is like a feminine shape and form you create that can float around into your circumstance and keep track like a ghost and follow around the shit that you're creating in your current circumstance. So for the most part, here's where you get stories like mermaids and things of that nature. But for the most part, this is what it actually is. It's like your inner dragon, your inner feminine dragon. You know what I'm saying? Your inner flame. So it's that inner lizard. It's that you know what I'm saying, that inner draconian that you have, you know what I'm saying? And all those motherfucking nagas and things of that nature. This is those beings, those blood cells working the hand and things of that nature that's actually living out that physical existence. But as far as spiritually, this is just an experience you have already had. You have already been in that shape and form, and now you can just utilize that shape and form as something that you can use as your bitch, because for the most part, you have a bigger awareness now because you're a motherfucking human. So you got more perception. So you got more awareness and more concept and more conscious awareness of what you're actually doing now. So now you got actually a hand on your magic and actually can utilize your magic for what you want to do, aka magic, Merkaba, moon, mermaid, and we going back to the waters right now, so because it affects your moods. So you know this is attached to moods. This is attached to connections and vibrations. So for the most part, when you are in a current circumstance or situation, you're creating things, aka people, places, and things, aka you're manifesting people that resonate with that state of being. So based upon the state of being that you are in, you're going to manifest people that's alike. You're going to manifest the opposition of that also, something to go against your intellectual spaceship so you can learn how to build a better spaceship, aka more wisdom within your experiences. And also you're going to be in a situation where you're manifesting things. So the things that you have has a certain presence on it. So all these things is representing your energy signature in some way, shape, or form. So when these things leave your sight, these people, places, or things leave these sight that you have put your energy into, aka created the current with that shit. Now, once these things leave your sight, your ghosts, your Merkaba, your mermaid that you have created, travel with these things. Now, once these things rotate in the same current you are, but it leave your sight, it gets to accumulate, aka your concept, your idea, or that circumstance and situation you have created can now accumulate, aka other people, places, and things can add on to this when you're not around. So be careful. Like, so when, for an example, when you affect someone, you affect their vibe, their emotions, right? Now, the way you affected it is how you directed the current. So you created a current circumstance or situation, aka a vibe between you and a person. Now, if you created a negative current, a turbulent current, right? This person is going to take that vibe. Now, you have created a shape and form. Now, this is through the person aspect, but it can be through a person, place, or thing. But I'm trying to come down to 3D to y'all so y'all can clearly understand it. So I'm talking about it through a person reference now. So now, once you emotionally affect this person, now this person is juggling on their own day now, right? So now they having conversations with other people about you, feelings and emotions. Now, and then the things that they're doing in their day, even when they're not talking to people, if they have you on their mind or on their feelings when they're actually doing something in their day that has nothing to do with you, that's actually an influence. So whatever that they're doing, gonna be an extra added energy to it. So if they're playing a video game like Grand Theft Auto or something like that, and they killing motherfuckers, but you on their feelings and emotions and thoughts in the moment that they killing motherfuckers, that's an actual energy. You gonna get hit by a motherfucker. Believe this shit. Now look, all that plays out as accumulation. As accumulation of attaching to what you have created. Now, your mermaid is keeping track of all the accumulations. You see what I'm saying? So, because you are the intellectual, you own that intellectual property of what you're creating in your current circumstance. So now the mermaid keeping track of that shit. So once the current what goes around comes back around. This is what created that round rotation and this influence. What created currents, because we have to revolve around something, and we ain't the overall revolving, so we know we're revolving around other spaces. So this is where you start to break down. Y'all can get into my video on the birth of spirits, but we need to talk about this right now. So for the most part, when you get all that accumulation back, based upon how much you have got accumulated, now that's going to depend on how much you affected a person, place, or thing, right? How much you affected, that's how much energy you put into it. So the accumulation that come back going to be great, great big. Let's go back to the person analogy. If the person, place, or thing, if it's the person and you affected this in a great way, this person got deep emotions and thoughts around you into everything that they doing and who they talking to that day. So boom, when you going to catch all that back, and if the energy you put out, you getting it, the wave gonna be that much bigger once it come back to you. Now the mermaid gonna know where to direct that energy, because your mermaid, you created that mermaid, that energy, that current direction. You wouldn't have pushed that wave, wouldn't have went in that flow if you ain't started it. So you are the intellectual property of that. You need to know that you are the owner of that intellectual property. Otherwise, it wouldn't have been a creation. That person wouldn't have felt that way. That material wouldn't have affected you in that way, or that place wouldn't have made you feel that way, or that place that you went to wouldn't have transformed you in some way, shape, or form. You see what I'm saying? To the point that it played out negatively. So you need to keep all these in mind. Now, once that current wave, ooh, boom, come and hit you, it's way bigger. So depending on your spiritual strength and how sufficient your spaceship is that you develop for yourself, that's going to let you know if you could weather that storm, if you could weather that wave, or is it going to be a wipeout. Now, if you got a strong mentality, strong emotions and feelings, that wave ain't going to affect you. You're going to be able to rise that wave and overcome the flood, like the Bible stories and shit. But if you're unaware of, and you don't watch Archangel Uriel, 9 times out of 10, you're going to experience a negative situation. You're going to experience your karma coming back to you. Therefore, your Merkaba, that mermaid, that karma, when that physical, that feminine shape and form you created for yourself to keep track of your possessions, when it come back to you, it's going to be like I told you so type of energy. And then she's water itself, so she's going to put you in that realm of reality of what you created. So that wave is just that wave of consciousness you coming back, and the information of that wave that been accumulated is some shit you started to springboard off of. So if it's some negative shit, you won't get back a negative wave, aka a wave of conscious, aka that creates scenarios and circumstances and situations in your life, aka what manifests into people, places, and things as the representation of that energy signature. So you need to know how things is divulging. So for the most part, that's what motherfucker karma is, and that's how you get negative karma. Now, you could place that into a positive circumstance. Say you in a positive scenario and you affecting people, places, and things in a positive way. Now, when that go accumulate, you be the person that people got a good word for. People recommend you and shit like that. Now you getting the good karma back. That's good karma. That wave that you getting back is some good shit, some shit that help that like clean your spaceship. You getting your spaceship a wipe down. It ain't no turbulent wave. It's one of those waves that's needed. Like, damn, I'm glad we went through this part type of shit. Now, getting back to the negative attribute, now I had to break down what karma actually is in the first place. So now, once you know that it means a state of being, a current, a wave, a current circumstance that you're creating for yourself, and now that you know that it's your mermaid that's keeping track of everything that you're creating in that current, so you need to know that if you put that rock in front of your spaceship, when that rock come back way faster and way more dangerous than it was when you put it out there, you need to know that it got accumulated and got caught up in other waves. Now, when that rock coming back to you, based upon the current, the rotation, the travel that we're all experiencing as far as stars and planets, that shit is going to be way rapid. Now a little rock, aka a little creation you done skip as a rock in that current, is going to hit your spaceship at 100 miles per hour, and that little rock can now dent your spaceship. And you put it out in a way that it couldn't dent anything, couldn't harm a fly. But just because your state of being and the current and the direction that you directed that current in, you manifested a bad circumstance. So you had karma. bad karma. Now, this is how you beat karma for the most part, and it's very simple. But it's going to be very hard based upon how much energy you have put in one pool anyway, in one ocean anyway, and how many shapes and forms you have created. Now, for the most part, this is how you actually beat karma. You have to actually take yourself out of the circumstance and situation completely. Take your spirit out of that pool completely. Now, what does that mean? That means whatever rotation, current, circumstance you was in, that you was creating shapes and forms, manifesting people, places, and things that resonate with that energy, you have to completely switch that. For an example, say you a person that you want to stop hanging with someone or something like that, right? But the whole reason that y'all got a relationship and started hanging with each other is because it was in a state of being and in a location around alcohol. So y'all probably met each other going out or something that's based upon alcohol. Now, say you still drink alcohol, this person still drink alcohol also, but you're kind of tired of this person's frequency vibration, so you want to detach from this person because this person is bringing a lot of turbulence in your life. Then what you're going to have to do is just stop drinking. And all the other shapes and forms ain't going to have nothing to do. You're just going to seem like a fake and phony person, and then whatever karma you get from that is going to be all warranted because you're being fake. What you have to understand is how both of y'all, what state of being that y'all both was in that had y'all connect in the first place. Once you understand the root cause, the root seed, the root vine, you have to cut that. So if what actually attracted y'all in the first place to be cool was alcohol, then that's going to be the thing that's going to have to be destroyed in order for y'all to get detached. So instead of playing all the hoops and loops and illusion games and lies and manipulation to make a person feel like you fake and phony and now y'all fighting each other and being enemies, all you got to do is just stop fucking drinking. Now, once you stop fucking drinking, this person's spirit is not even going to be able to attach to your state of being anymore because guess what? You took yourself out of that current, out of that state of being, out of those waters. So that person is still rotating in that waters, but you're not anymore. So that spirit can't do nothing more, nothing less, but find someone else rotating in that current. And then it'll play out as it won't even be no hard feelings. It'll just be a separation. So every time you see this person, it'll be like nothing changed. You'll be like, oh, that's what's up, but y'all go y'all separate ways. It won't be no emotional dragging down or you see what I'm saying? It'll just be a natural detachment because y'all are no longer in the same spaces. Y'all not longer in the same places. Y'all no longer in the same state of being as a spirit in the astral realm in another constellation, aka country or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Y'all don't live in the same area spiritually. So it's just spiritually y'all gonna find new friends and things like that. That's just naturally. You see what I'm saying? So that's what I mean by it. So just depending on if you're a person who's catching heavy waves, you're getting a lot of karma back and things of that nature. Then you need to look at your circumstances and situations, and that's going to be how much harder it is to get out. So for an example, say you done created a mermaid, you created a ghost, you created a moon to keep track of your possessions. But say you tired of all manifesting everything out of that current, like I just explained. So you just take yourself out of that pool. So now you're no longer in that rotation. So that's how you just beat karma. You just switch the circumstance and situation. But you need to understand this. Depending on how many shapes and forms you created in that last ocean you was in, you can't just leave your shit in there and just leave it alone. You see what I'm saying? So that's like leaving your mermaid in that pool to keep accumulating. So you're responsible for all these actions and things of that nature, but you in another space not feeling like you're responsible for anything because you just feel like you changed your life. Yet you're not trying to do anything to change the circumstance or the situation that you have created in the first place. Therefore, you're going to have blood on your hands. That's almost like, say like you have an old gang leader, right? Now, this old gang leader or old scientist or something like that have created something that everybody is doing now. Now, this scientist has changed his theologies, has changed his philosophies on shit, got a whole new idea. So everybody in that old science lab is like, it's like, what the fuck? You just switched up. And you got a whole new idea, but we got to keep this hypothesis going because this is working. Same way with the gang leader. Gang leader might start gangs or something like that, right? But say the gang leader changes life, right? But everybody's still doing gangs. Now, you see the little problem that's going on right now, right? Now, both of the gang leader and the science professor, right? Both created mermaids, right? Now, but then they left that current, they left that pool. So now they don't think they're responsible because they changed their own state of being, but they still got mermaids in those pools that they was just in. So if you're not willing to go in there and take your mermaid out, believe me, you're going to be responsible for that, whatever that mermaid is accumulating, and that wave is going to be way stronger. Now, anytime you take yourself out of a circumstance or situation in the fourth, fifth, and sixth dimension, you rising above. So that's you elevating and going above. So you're going to a higher frequency vibration of water. So it always appears like you're going to a land. but you're going on land. But you're just going to a bigger bubble with more air and earth in it. And air and earth is the illusion. But the illusion is the realm of reality. That is separate. This is something we create as forms to go into to experience a realm of reality. So you need to know once you go into the realm, you're just going to a higher bubble. So that higher bubble is like more awareness. It's a bigger bubble, and everything could be seen as more apparent. Or depending on if you went lower, everything be more deeper. The imagination be more realistic and shit like that. But for the most part, that you just taking yourself out of that pool and going to a higher frequency vibration. Because anytime you rise above you feel uplifted, don't you? Anytime you rise above a circumstance or situation in your third dimensional life, spiritually you feel uplifted, right? So you really do be uplifted, but you just go to a higher waters in the fourth, fifth, and sixth dimension. And anytime you reach a higher waters, it appears that you reach a new land. But a new land is just a higher frequency vibration of water, a fluid. You always in fluid. You need to understand that. We're just dealing with frequency vibrations, levels of it. So since by default you're higher, right? The mermaid, the wave, the mermaid that you left in the previous ocean is going to be below you in the fourth, fifth, and sixth dimension. But since you're leaving shit unattentioned, like all your creation, since you're leaving that in there for it to accumulate on its own, what's actually happening is the wave has to become a lot bigger for it to reach where you at. But it still has to reach you because that's your mermaid. That's your ghost that's keeping track of all your possessions. So it has to elevate to reach where you at. But it's going to. You can't run from nothing. You'll find yourself running your whole life. And every life you go into as an existence, you play out scenarios of you creating a circumstance or situation that you want to solely detach from. So you end up always being like the people I was explaining, the gang person or the science person, or if you're doing it on a small scale in your life. You know what I'm saying? But it doesn't matter. You're always going to create situations until you run into a brick wall and you experience a life that you can't run from that. You're actually going to have to take care of all your problems all the way through and be satisfied like that. You know what I'm saying? The real relaxing, not no running relaxing. If you get what I'm saying, y'all get what I'm saying? So it's like, for the most part, see, I should have wrote another L because I'm trying to break it down more three-dimensional wise for y'all. So yeah, so for the most part, when you go into the realms of realities, right? And now the way the wave get bigger and reach you is if it accumulate a lot more. And since you're leaving it unattentioned, other people are taking those characteristics, adding their ideas and feelings and emotions on it. Now the wave is that much bigger. So you're responsible, and if you end up being responsible for a whole generation, oh shit. You see what I'm saying? I'm trying to get back to 3D on y'all. Like, this is real shit. But look, for the most part, boom. Now, once the wave get big enough to reach you to wherever you think you got elevated from, you're going to feel the necessary need to run again. And you're going to play out that in your existence of wanting to detach yourself from every person, place, or thing that represents something that you once did. For an example, if you was the hustler or the gang leader, as soon as a person come around you with some gang shit, you get the fuck away from me. You act aggressive with it and shit like that. Or just that you don't know how to relate and bounce in and out and still be in your space, but actually still resonate and come to this person like, man, don't do this because my moves was like this, that, and the third, and you shouldn't do that, and come up with, you know what I'm saying? You're not rectifying the shapes and forms in there. You just leaving it unattentioned, and then you're trying to run from it also. And it plays out in this realm of reality like, man, you just getting away from that shit. You moving, you changing your life, you talking down on everybody who's playing out the characteristics that you created. Shit get deep. You don't know how much blood you putting on your hands. You just don't know. You just don't know. Now, for the most part, I see this shit 4th, 5th, and 6th dimensional wise in real time. So, for the most part, now, you need to rectify that shit, or you're going to find yourself always running from waves. You see what I'm saying? So don't go chasing waterfalls like TLC, because that's chasing circumstances and situations that might be out of your spectrum. Then when the situation got chaotic, you have chased a waterfall right into a current where that wave was too strong, and your ass couldn't spiritually withstand that shit. So whatever spaceship you went on that current with, it couldn't float on the waters right. Because the spaceship was your mentality and your feelings and emotions. And that shit was weak just because you got led into that current in the first place. So you need to motherfucking understand when we talk about karma, karma could be good or bad. But if you wrapped up into some bad karma, yeah, it's easy to escape that shit, but you don't want to live a whole existence and trillions of years of running. So you better make sure whatever shapes and forms you have created in that current, in that ocean that you have took yourself out of, and your ghost, your macabre, your moon, your mermaid that you have created to keep track of all that shapes and forms, is memory, it's water. So it's always attached to your energy signature. So if you're not taking care of that and rectifying that and clearing all that up, aka putting the same energy into that shit to show that you're getting out of that shit, putting the same amount of energy you put into that shit to show that you're getting out of that shit and not just running from that shit. You see what I'm saying? Therefore, you can be seen as the representation and become complete again. Your shapes and forms ain't separate from you and taking on its own. You're actually taking responsibility, aka you're taking all your possessions and cleaning that water. Therefore, any other passengers in that current, they're on their own. They have to have their own paddle boat. They ain't got no examples and shit on how to sustain that dumbass current flow that's going to destroy everybody in that waters. You see what I'm saying? So you got to keep that in mind. But for the most part, this is how you beat motherfucking karma. So either your ass is going through this scenario of rectifying all your circumstances out of that shit. Therefore, whatever wave come back from that shit, of all the energy you put in that shit, the wave, it won't hit you as strong till it'll destroy you. It'll come with perks. It'll come with the manifestation of people, places, and things creating excuses for you, justifications for you, or on why you a good guy and why you shouldn't be crucified, or why you shouldn't be in jail for 1,000 years, or why you shouldn't be talked down upon, and why you was an actual good person. That's me as Archangel Uriel seeing in the 4th, 5th, and 6th dimension. In the 3rd dimension, you're actually putting in the work and going into the pool that you actually left from, that you don't want to be in no more, that current circumstance, and actually taking all your possessions. Therefore, the mermaid is keeping track of the possessions, but if you went in and got all the possessions, the mermaid come back to you, aka your feminine masculine come back to one, and therefore that wave that do hit you will come in the way I just explained it, in a positive way, and therefore your life end up that much lighter. You beat that karma, you beat that systematic circle. You see what I'm saying? And it goes deeper than that, you know. So I'm about to go live tonight, but I got a few natal readings to do and shit like that. I'm gonna answer a few more of y'all shit. So I'm in here and do that shit, you know what I'm saying? Go get my daughter from school and shit like that. And we in this motherfucker. Flight boss, bitch, goddamn air, love y'all. Don't let karma, motherfucker, attach herself to you like a scorned woman. Cause she'll never leave your side. God damn it, stating you'll drown. She'll drown your ass. Hee hee.